Hi guys, I decide to show you how to take the EGR valve off this ugly engine, which I'll show you now. Obviously engine cover off, there's the EGR valve, quite straightforward. You need to take this pipe off first. There's two bolts here, 1 and 2, take them two off. Take this bolt off here, undo it mostly all the way and split this apart so it allows the pipe to come away. Take the pipe, put it out of the way, put it with the bolts that you've taken off up here. Don't put it over here because they like to fall down now. Alright, once you've taken that off, there's another two bolts. There's this one here and there's one underneath it as well, but once this is out of the way you'll be able to see the other one. Undo them both and again put them to one side. This will then prise out. Alright, the bit that you're prising out there is the bit that I showed you in the picture that was all gunked up, the tubular bit. When you're prising it out, be careful because there is a seal in there, a little rubber seal that runs right around. So literally just put it in and twist it and you'll notice that part will just slide out from in there. Mine was totally gunked up, as you saw, and I also was gunked up in here as well. So have enough cleaner or cleaning stuff to clean it all out. Taking the main EGR off, pretty straightforward. Undo the electrical supply, take the pipe off. I think that's a little 8mm, or you can use a flathead. You can undo that one and that one down there. Take the pipe off out of the way. I think that's a 10mm for the dipstick holder. Take that off as well. Allows the dipstick holder to move out of the way. There's 3 bolts holding the EGR valve, not 2. There's one now, there's one in the back, and there's one here. They're all facing the same way, but literally there's one here, one round the back here, and one here. Once the pipe's out of the way, you'll be able to get access to both them other bolts. So you'll be able to put your hand in, you'll be able to get access to both of the bolts. Once you undo all them 3 bolts, this will just come away really easily. You just slide it a bit and it will just drop apart. It'll allow you to clean all the gunk out from in here inside the EGR valve, and also obviously where I think this is called the return, and where all the soots where it all gets blocked up. You'll find your hole's probably really tiny when it with all the gunk, when it should really be obviously quite an open hole, same size as this diameter. In return, putting it back, bit of a pain to get the bolts back in on this. It probably took me about 10 minutes to do. Put it back in place, put your 3 bolts, obviously torque them up, put your pipe back on and your dipstick holder and your electrical supply. When you're putting this pipe, well, right, this bit first, when you slide this in, it'll only go in one way. If you put it in the wrong way, so the bolts are going in and it won't go in, you need to twist the whole thing round and then put it in, and you'll find it will slot in properly. And then obviously re-torque them two up. When you're putting this final pipe back on, make sure you put this bit on first and torque it up a little bit, not too tight, but torque it up a little bit, and then put them 2 bolts there. If you put them 2 bolts there in first, before trying to push this back in place on here, you'll never get it in. Trust me, I tried it about 3 or 4 times before I got bored and took them out again. So put this back in first, tighten it up a little bit, and then put them bolts back in, and then obviously you can torque it all up. Straightforward, and that'll be your EGR nice and clean. Don't forget to put your engine cover back on, covering the ugly engine.